Under the Mask is an expansion adventure for time stories that requires the core game to play. I reviewed the base game a while back, and we've added a link to that on the end screen. In this story, 2 to 4 players try and recover a pharaoh's funeral mask. Because I explained the rules in the main review, I'll focus on anything special for Under the Mask. Setup and general gameplay are more or less the same for every Time Stories adventure. Characters have their own ratings and abilities, and some events are only possible, or at least easier, with certain characters. In Under the Mask, you don't need to wait until between runs to change your character. There will be times during the story when you'll have the chance to switch to a different receptacle. Sometimes, depending on the situation and game state, this new receptacle won't offer much. Other times, it's the only way to advance. Be careful. Once you switch, you can't switch back during the same run. You'll have choices right off the bat here, and I'm not just talking about which person to speak with. See that exclamation mark on the yellow circle? Someone will have to go there. Eventually, you will reach the end of the story. You'll do the Time Stories thing. Roll dice, read cards, and see what Bob has to say. And that's Time Stories Under the Mask. The Time Stories board is large, but the decks and pawns sit on it. You'll have a few token piles, but that's about it. Player areas depend on the number of item cards, but a dining room table should be enough. This is a long game. Save it for weekends. Of all the adventures, this is the one that had the biggest difference in time between the game my parents played with our friend Ariel and the game we played. You can use the box insert to save your progress to continue on another day. There's no violence or scary stuff this time around, but it's still a lot of reading. Depending on the game experience and decision-making abilities, I'd say this could be played with 8 to 10-year-olds. If you want to introduce Time Stories to kids my age, this is the adventure I'd recommend starting with. By 12, I guess kids can play this particular expansion even without adults or older players helping. I have to be careful not to spoil things, so sorry if this is hard to follow. During our final run-through, we came across something unexpected. Dad had died earlier, leaving me and Mom to solve a tricky puzzle. Thanks, Dad. He had just rejoined us, and we faced, we were up against something that I thought would kill us for sure. Me and Mom went to deal with that, and Dad chose a different location. Long story short, we made it out alive. Ancient Egypt is a pretty cool theme, and it's nice that Under the Mask, aside from traveling back through time and the other sci-fi stuff, was realistic instead of supernatural. Being able to switch receptacles, unlocking new locations and objects, plus following the clues around town helped bring the mystery together. As much as I enjoyed the other adventures, I think this one might be my favorite. The big problem with Time Stories is replayability, and this is no different. While you could play it again if you want, there's no real reason to, and it won't be as good the second time. One of the reasons I enjoyed Under the Mask so much is also one of its frustrating points. You can go to more places, and there's more running around and backtracking. It's easy to get sidetracked, and it's also easy to be teased into switching receptacles just because you're curious. I think it's impossible to win without switching, but when and to who? That's the real challenge in mystery. Add a great theme, and you have the best Time Stories adventure yet.